Hello, and welcome to Schmidy's guide on how to tank in the secret world. This guide will be going over how to tank the first Nightmare dungeon, the Nightmare Polaris. And to start off, we are going to be hitting Shift V to open up the group finder. We're going to be signing up as a tank, hitting the Nightmare tab, and going down to the Polaris. There we sign up. Generally, if you sign up as a tank, you will get a pop immediately. Whereas if you sign up as a healer or a DPS, you will often have to wait a couple of minutes before you're actually going to get a group, because there's going to be so many people queued in front of you for those roles that they will get higher priority. We will be using the pink tank, so if you need a tank build and you haven't gotten that yet, I would highly suggest looking at the previous video that I made on how to set up a tank build and what gear you should be using. Going to be trying to explain a little bit about the fight before we start, and then just running through it, sort of your practical exam. So this is our first set of trash here. Make sure your healer is in there before you run in. You're just going to pick them up and use your builders and consumers. Don't use any of your special stuff. And just sort of sit here and hit them until your DPS take him down, and we'll be starting at Haugwui Jarl, our first boss. He has 3 skills. Deep Calling, you'll just run behind him when he casts it. Charged Hack is a giant hit. You want to impair that or dodge away from it. And Mjolnir's Echo is an aggro reset. You have to impair that. So here we go. Deep Calling, we're going to stand behind him, so it doesn't work. He's starting Charged Hack, we're going to stop that. And now we're just doing our standard rotation. He's probably not going to get to where he uses Mjolnir's Echo, but if he does, we will use Trial by Swords. Nope, he never did. We're going to be needing on these toolkits because we need them. Because we need to get these glyphs up. And I will be going through how you want to upgrade your gear as we go along here after we have finished 18s, which is the first 3 dungeons in the game. Basically, each dungeon has 6 monsters, 6 boss monsters, and so the first 3 of them contain the first 18 bosses of the game, which is why it used to be called 18s. So there's going to be a couple more ads here. Just pick them up with your builders and consumers. Wait for your DPS to finish them off. Alright, here we have the Blarbane Sorceress. She has 2 skills that we care about, Death Squall and Tide Wall. Death Squall is just an obnoxious cloud, impair it. And Tide Wall is going to make it so that she is harder to kill. Ilrune's is just her regular attack cast, so even though it has a cast bar, ignore it. You can see there we just impaired both of those skills. And the fight is already almost over. There we go. So even though this group is doing significant damage, we are not losing aggro. If we are going to lose aggro, it'll be here. So this fight has a couple of phases. The first phase, he's going to pop out of the water and then submerge. Every time he submerges, he resets aggro and spawns a couple of zombie ads. Then he's going to be using Mjolnir's Echo and Charged Hack again, so impair Mjolnir's Echo, dodge out of the way of, or impair Charged Hack. He will also have Deep Blast, which is just a skill that you need to get out of the way of. So you see there, when my impair didn't hit, I dodged backwards and he missed me. The zombies spawn and we go over here. So if we're going to lose aggro, it's going to be right here, because he's going to be using Deep Blast, which is just a point-blank AoE. It's going to make me run away from him pretty much immediately, and it was an aggro reset. So, if we're losing aggro on him, it's right here. Fortunately, they put him back down into the water before we even have to care about that. And we're just looking for this little... It actually signifies that the target is CC immune, but the CC immune veil that is around him, it'll show us where he's going to pop up next. We're going to stop that. We're going to dodge out of the way of that. And now he's going to walk off to the second phase. He'll spawn a couple of zombies on his way, so as you are running after him, just spam your builder. You'll pick them up. You can use your consumer once if you want to, just to make sure that they stay on you. He'll spawn one more set right around here. And you're just going to be running towards where he is. Now you're going to want to start in the water, but then you're going to want to go onto that green crate that's behind me right now. So once he becomes attackable, just sort of stop him from doing crazy stuff. And there you go. We're just still impairing Milner's Echo and Charge Tack if we can. You can survive a Charge Tack sometimes, as we did just there. I would not advise it. We're just all going to run past these groups. They do not need to be fought. They, for the most part, cannot hop down here. Once in a while, one of them will. So if you can take your sprint off and you can't put it back on, wait for him to come over, because he's gonna. Otherwise, we are on the 4th boss already. So she doesn't have anything we need to impair, just a single target that that. Corpulent Slam. Don't stand in that. We're going to bring her a little bit towards the exit here, because ads are going to spawn. We want to pick them up. So we've gotten them. You're going to have to dodge roll away because those ads will hinder you. Then they cause a giant, they cause 3 of those little witches to spawn. They have a huge evade buff. If you happen to have gone through all your issues, you can have an ult. Use it there, because they can't evade your ult. Otherwise, generally, someone else in your party will have an ult, or use one of the other methods to deal with their evade buff, like a purge, like cleanup or electromagnetic manifestation. But that's the DPS's job, that's not your job. So we're just going to run through here. Notice the path that I used. I used this path because it sends us through the least amount of trash mobs that we have to deal with. It's pretty much hugging the right-hand side. So we're at Primordial Dweller. The only thing we care about here is Impair Psychic Death Zone, and we're going to be standing on that blue crate to the right over there. Then, whenever he casts Psychic Death Zone, stop him from doing it. You can impair Tidewall at a group that does high DPS. Otherwise, this is the skill. Oh, we're not going to impair it. And that is the downside of not having high hit rating. Once in a while, you can't impair things that you otherwise would be able to. So that's going to be one of the first things that we upgrade once we are upgrading gear. Don't get hit by these circles. You just stand out of the way of them, you get plenty of time. So we are not going to be able to finish this fight because the healer's dead, so there's a wipe. So yeah, hit rating is one of the first things you're going to want to get up because it will occasionally cause you to glance your impairs like that, and it will kill the party. That wasn't even Trial by Swords being Trial by Swords. It was just a low enough hit rating that we messed up. We glanced. Alright. So, again, we're going to be standing on that blue section here. The DPS are actually going to have to deal with those ads that hinder you and then blow up. Generally, they're just going to bring sleight of hand. You should not actually have to deal with those ads. These guys right here, the one's right behind me, he's going to blow up soon. We're actually going to try for this. Okay, you notice I impaired Tidewall there because our DPS that survived was the good one. So that was why we impaired Tidewall there, because otherwise he would have gotten an extra chunk of hit points. We wouldn't have been able to kill him in time. So that one wasn't our fault. The entire party died because they either stood in those exploding blue areas, or they got hit by those ads, which they should have sleight of hand for. That is really not your job to deal with. So interestingly, the reason sleight of hand works is because that entire attack they use, which hinders you and then they blow up, is considered to be crowd control. And since sleight of hand makes you immune to crowd control for 7 seconds, it makes you immune not only to the hinder, but also to the explosion damage. Kinda neat. Alright, we're waiting for our last member over here to get to the helicopter so that we can leave and go home, because it's been a fun dungeon. Ah, here he is. Alright. We are out of here. So you get to see this neat little cutscene for beating the bosses, of leaving in the same Orochi copter. Oh! That you came in on. Or maybe not. Whoops. So if you've been keeping count, we've only fought 5 bosses. That's the 6th one. And that brings us to our last boss of the Polaris. So here we are. Everybody else has skipped that cutscene, so they didn't watch it at all. So here's the big guy. We are going to be going over here. He has no skills that need impairing. However, you can impair his cleaves. They have a cast, in case you get hit really hard and you want to do that. And I think she's giving me hit rating. Yeah. Fair enough. We'll even use one here. Not really needed because he doesn't have anything that needs to be impaired, but you know what? She was nice. We'll be nice. And everyone is here. I actually like to check. Looks like we're missing some. Oh, they're on the other side. Okay, we're good. So I will be going. So we're going to pop Stoicism, Blade Torrent, Clearing the Path, Discord Rising, Consequence, Whip, and then we're just going to pay attention to our health, really. If he hits us really hard, we're going to use an impair right about when the cleave is going to end, right here, for example. Just to give him extra time. Ooh! And we lost aggro because we don't have a ton of hit rating. It's because we don't have awesome gear yet. Only one person died, which is pretty awesome. We're going to pop Stoicism here so that doesn't happen again. Sometimes stuff like that will happen until you gear up. You're just going to have to go with it. So yeah, occasionally they will be able to burst higher than you can deal with. It happens. And he is going to disappear underneath the rocks here. This is good. Even if we die here, we get to see this. So if this happens, you want to stand over this direction. That hit will kill you instantly. Then he hinders you. You can use your dodge roll to get out of it. And that will allow you to not get hit by this giant bonk. Okay, well, we got hit by it anyway. Generally somebody's going to bring... Well, really, generally, everybody doesn't die, and then you don't have to deal with this phase. But if you think you are, somebody's going to bring a cleanse, which lets you not get hindered. He's about to explode all of these rock pillars. Don't stand next to them while this happens. Boom. Oh, and actually he went to a standard blue phase, so we're just going to let ourselves die here. We're going to stand inside of this. There we go. Anyway, that's what the whole fight looks like. If you bring him down enough after he uses those bubbles, he'll run to the center, but you'll have enough HP, or you'll have so few HP left on him that you'll just be able to win. So once we finish watching this, our healer is dead. Okay, there we go. We'll try again. So, yeah, occasionally the low gear will rear its ugly head. If the DPS get lucky and you don't, they will take aggro from you, even with Stoicism and Agitator. And we'll use one of these hit ratings that the nice person gave us. Can we use both? I don't know. I don't think so. Oh, we can. Cool. This will also help us a tiny little bit. You can buy Benefaction Tonics for a very reasonable price from the auction house. I would suggest it. So we're going to jump a couple times to let them know we're going. Alright, Stoicism, Blade Torrent, Clearing Path, Disco, Consequence, Whip. And now we're just standing here. And you might want to just throw your impairs at him so that that doesn't happen. You may have to ask a really strong DPS like that to calm the hell down, because you can't hold aggro on a really strong DPS yet. Alright, so third time is the charm here. We will ask politely for this guy to calm down a little bit. So let them know, look, I'm a gearing tank. Don't do anything crazy. And we'll give him a second to do that. And then we'll go... Okay, yeah, he's gonna slot something else for us here, which will be nice. Because basically we're going to win if he doesn't turn around and kill my party. Okay, I'm going to be going here in about 10 seconds. Okay, nope, right now. Here we go. So, Blade Torrent, Clearing Path, Discord, Consequence, Whip, and then use your regularly scheduled thing. Actually, I would... Since we know our healer is going to stop him, I'm just going to use everything I can under Stoicism, because that will also help. That's another option that you have, because those skills do a little bit more damage, and when you do them under Stoicism, that will help a lot. You can actually find a little spot here where he can't hit you while he does that. It's pretty great. This is one of the few places where I would actually use Discord Rising more than once, because it hits him so many times. Okay, so we're getting close to the end. This is what it should look like if nobody steals the aggros from you, which they will eventually not be able to do once you've geared up a little bit more. Use your big stuff when he turns blue, because he starts doing crazy things, and there is the Nightmare Polaris. Thank your group. And then we are going to head over with this build to the next two dungeons of 18's Darkness War and Hell Raised. I will see you there.